uh, became, I believe there are some 2000 popular definitions on leadership. And I'm sure there are a lot more books on leadership across cultures, across spectrum,
Yeah,
yeah, business to non-for-profit. How is this book different from those books? And what is your objective? Over and above what you said, you want to bring it to a larger audience. What is?
sure, sure. It's a good question, actually. This book is on leadership presence, as the heading says. This is for leaders who want to enhance their leadership presence and leadership impact. To that extent, this is not for someone who wants to become a leader, probably. This is for a leader who is already a leader who wants to get better at the nuances of leadership, the subtle aspects that brings disproportional outcomes as a leader and enhancing their leadership impact significantly. Yeah. So these are for leaders. And that way it is different from a normal leadership book. Who have already done the heavy lifting, for example, and reached certain orbits, operating from certain coordinate. Now, to continue and move on to higher orbits, to gain elevation or to move to a desired coordinate, leaders need to address the nuances. That is about being enhancing leadership presence, the subtler aspects of leadership. Yeah, it is like this. For example, imagine a satellite launch and the booster rockets consume bulk of the fuel to enter the space and reach the satellite to decide orbit. Yeah. That is the heavy lifting as a leader that they have already done. Now they need to fire the thrusters in a very calibrated, deliberate, decisive way in specific angles and directions for even nanoseconds. And this is how satellites position and keep their position and move orbits and avoid other flying objects, etc. So this is also required for leaders, to adjusting their position, repositioning, and to avoid other flying objects, to avoid accidents,
Yeah.
to to gain elevation and moving an orbit to some other orbit which is desired and so on and so forth. Yeah. So working on leadership presence is like this, like firing the thrusters in a very conscious way, in a calibrated way, in a deliberate way, attending to the nuances and finer aspects of leadership that influences the outcomes substantially. Yeah. So nuances matter in leadership. Once you become a leader, it is the nuances that matter because the heavy lifting is already done, as I said earlier. So leaders have to focus on leadership presence to address that. So when leaders enhance their leadership presence, the impact is substantial. It is disproportional. And that is why this book is addressing the specific aspects of leadership presence and how one could enhance that consciously, step by step.